What's your definition of stereotype?
A stereotype to me is being judged before someone actually gets to know you.
I guess I get stereotyped, but like usually it's with people that, or it's by people that I'm friends with, so it's always like in a joking way.
I would say that a stereotype is what society perceives that like a group of individuals, like the qualities that they have, and they assume that because they're of that race that they have those qualities and they have to abide by those things. And if they're not, then they're kind of like ostracized within that society because they're not following what they think they should be doing.
Right, they're not following the norms set by society. It's because people are ignorant to other cultures and other races, so they don't actually know what's actually true.
My definition of a stereotype is a common belief about a certain group of people, which isn't necessarily true.
So my definition of a stereotype is basically something that someone does, but people over-exaggerate it. So that's how a stereotype is created, because they only hear one side of a story. And once they hear that one side and they don't know the whole story, they assume that's the one thing they do. Like most people see on TV that Africa is like, most people in Africa are poor and like are going through poverty. So they assume that's everyone in Africa. But that continent is like, it's filled with a lot of rich people, a lot of wealthy families or middle class families, people who get to eat every day. Not everyone in that country is poor.
I mean, since it's a generalization about a group of people instead of a person, usually stereotype is put upon you. And sometimes it's true, but regardless of if it's true or false, it's still nonetheless a stereotype. So.
I think stereotype is how people perceive you on first impression. They don't make it based on judgment, but rather like how you look or the color of your skin.
I think stereotypes are actually just assumptions that they make about certain people, not based on any sort of facts or experience of being with them. Usually stereotypes are made out of judgment.
I would say a stereotype is a generalization about a group of people, imprinted in our lives rather than imposed. And it's just basically, I guess, like how people feel like a group of people act based on what they've seen.
Stereotype is something that tries to define a person based on their gender or race or something outside of their control.
The stereotype that I've experienced personally is people expect me to act really ghetto because I'm from the South Side and I'm black. But when they figure out that I actually talk pretty proper, they're just like, oh, are you mixed? I'm like, no. Or, you're an Oreo. Not really, just me.
Oh, well, one stereotype is, mainly like because I'm black, people assume that like I'm poor or like I'm from the ghetto or the ghetto, whatever you want to call it. I mean, which is, it's not a bad thing, but it's just you're assuming my socio-economic background just because I'm black, so.
Yeah, I've been stereotyped before, like because I'm Asian. People think that I have to be a good girl, I have to get straight A's, I have to be good at school, I'm good at academics.
You know, I've been told to like, don't voice my opinion because I was a girl. Like, that doesn't matter to you because you're a girl. Just like go back to the kitchen. Don't try to change anything. So.
Only by people that I'm friends with, so it's just usually as a joke.
Oh, I've definitely been stereotyped. Like things like, oh, you like chicken, fried chicken because you're black. You like watermelon. Your favorite drink is grape pop. Like.
So they basically kind of like give you who you are as a person. So like.
Exactly. Like I feel like before I knew who I was as a person, they were trying to tell me.
Well, not much in high school, but like in elementary school, people assume that I want to go and play basketball because I was on the basketball team in elementary school. So they assume like when they ask me what do you want to grow up and do, and I would say like act or major in finance or something. People would say, oh, not basketball. That's what all my friends would say, and I'd be like, no. Why? Who wants to major in a sport, or like go on and do a sport in the future life instead of getting an education?
because like they're doing math homework at lunch and they're like, help me with my math, you're good at math, great.
I don't think being Catholic in general necessarily means that people assume that you're reserved, but I think there's this kind of belief, especially about Catholic girls, especially, that are supposed to be like reserved and prim and proper, and be quiet when they're supposed to be quiet, and not have their voice heard necessarily.
Being Mexican, it's like automatically assumed that I'm good at soccer, and I actually didn't play soccer growing up. I mean, I tried it for a couple of years. I'm actually terrible. And like I didn't fit that stereotype, and it was just really weird because everybody assumed because I was Mexican I had to be like an all-star or something.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like when people look at like the color of your skin, they assume certain things about you. Like one thing, if like that people know that I'm Mexican, like they assume that I speak Spanish, and like I do speak Spanish but not fluently. Like I actually wish that I spoke more than I do, but people assume that, so they'll walk up to you and like start speaking Spanish, and sometimes like you just don't know what to say. So there's some stuff like that.